Good morning and welcome to another episode of CyberQuest. I'm your host, as usual, Ngozi Duru, and we welcome you. Thank you for joining. Whether you're joining on YouTube or on Zoom, we are very delighted to have you here. In today's podcast, we are going to be delving into the world of cybersecurity. We'll be exploring all the trends, all the initiatives, and all the challenges that are shaping our digital world today. So get ready. We have experts in the industry who are here to share their knowledge with you. Please go get your popcorn, sit down, call a friend, call just everybody, and be ready to get into a very thought-provoking engagement this morning where we'll be sharing a lot of information, helping you to protect yourself, your data, and your organization. Once again, we want to welcome you. Thank you for making our time to be here.
Hi everyone, and welcome to CyberQuest 1.0. My name is Bowale Oyenuga. We've organized this platform so that we can be able to educate ourselves and also raise the awareness of cybersecurity. The topic for or the title for this event is cyber resilience in this digital age and preparing for the inevitable. And as we know that digital evolution is on the rise at every point in time, we've seen that attackers are also not relenting in diving into attacking and extorting people as well. And also we've seen the emergence of AI being one of the most prominent tools used in this age, which also escalating cyber threats on a very large scale. These are also necessitate to be able to educate people, have a cybersecurity education. One of the slogans I've held on to lately is that no matter how sophisticated your cybersecurity product or ecosystem is, a little ignorance can bring them down in a matter of time. So you have to be educated, you have to be informed. The best defense against cyber threats is an educated user. So cybersecurity awareness is very important at all levels. And one of the things we should also know is that cybersecurity is not just an aspect of a business, it's actually what drives a business. So whether you have a company, you're a CEO and all that, and it's not something that to deal with, it's life in its entirety. It's what drives a business. We've had occurrence of cyber threats globally in the past and now, and we see a lot of that going around. And one of the things we want to arm yourself is education. For instance, the world of AI has also necessitated that someone has to be vigilant. The difference there's a thin line between AI and humanity now. The rise of deepfake. Recently there was a news about Elon Musk. It was like a YouTube viral news that went viral that time, that Elon Musk is giving double for whatever anybody is paying online, and someone fell victim of that and lost about $400,000 to a deepfake attacks and all that. And also, if you are not educated enough, you won't be able to stay ahead of cyber threat and emergence. And that's why we have this platform to educate users at a minimum level. Whether you're a common man, everybody is responsible for cyber safety, not just the techie guys. So you are responsible for your safety online. For today's program, we'll be diving into two topics. One is cyber threats in Nigeria. We are particular about Nigeria because we understand that most people are not, well educated in Nigeria about cyber safety, cyber security awareness, and all that. They don't take security very, very seriously, and that's why you see a lot of people falling victim of what they should have known that this thing is not. They are not meant to fall victim of. So it's not the matter of cyber safety. Is not the matter of how techy you are. It's just having knowledge, and that's why we're looking at cyber threats in Nigeria and also preparing for the inevitable. Most especially in the era of AI machine learning, deepfake, phishing, and all that. Then we also delve into emerging technologies and their impact on cybersecurity jobs. We're having a lot of digital revolution, and we need to know. You need to know where you stand and how you can also plug into that opportunity to exploit what cybersecurity is giving. Cybersecurity is a lucrative career, is a global career. No matter where you are in the world, you can plug into that global career, and we'll be talking about the essential skills you need to delve into the world. I will tell you for the fact that I wasn't into IT maybe 6 years ago. I started my career in 2018. I studied geology in school, so I didn't really know much about IT until I started looking into it. So you might be exploring other field, and you also want to tap into the opportunity that cybersecurity brings. We'll have an expert that will talk about that so that you can be able to equip yourself and start your journey. There's nobody that can't explore this opportunity. Whether you don't want to do some techie things, cybersecurity is a field that is very wide, and we have different roles in cybersecurity. We have the guys that are doing the techie ones. We have the ones that are just selling. You'll be shocked that there are some people that don't have to sit on their computer 24/7 to be tracking maybe IP addresses, or to be tracking malwares, or to be defending and all that. Theirs is just to do auditing. Theirs is just to know that you are compliant to some certain regulations and rules. And we have some people that they are just selling solution. They are the sales guys. And so there is a lot of opportunity that we can explore in cybersecurity, and we are raising that awareness to ensure that people also plug into such opportunity and have such leverage. And also we have a community in Telegram, and I also understand the roles of mentorship and community. Roles of mentorship and community. Mentorship and community has also aided my journey to where I am today. I remember when I was looking, finding what to do, and I didn't know. It was someone that guided me, and so for that sake, we've also created a community whereby we share resources, we share knowledge, and we also try to point newbies and cybersecurity enthusiasts into the right direction of what they need to, where they need to go and what they need to do. If you have a right mentor, the journey of 10 years, you can complete it in 1 year. And that's why mentorship is very important. Networking is very important. Community of people is very important. Imagine you have a community of people going the same direction. Your journey will be quite short. You won't have to repeat mistakes like that. So, and I would urge you to subscribe to our channel, follow us on our platform so that you can also get more updates. And apart from this event, we'll have some things coming up in the nearest future, like having a podcast, inviting experts in the industry to come and speak so that you can have insight into the cybersecurity world, and you can know that cybersecurity is not as complex in terms like that as it is. It's something anyone can do, because it's everybody's responsibility to be safe. You understand? It's your responsibility, and it's my responsibility to ensure that there is cybersecurity safety online.
Thank you so very much. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for taking time to be with us here. Just as Bolwani has said, we have taken it up on ourselves to become that the cyber warrior, the ones who stands out and tries to educate people, try to educate the communities around us about what's going on around as it has to do with cybersecurity, how you have to be equipped and prepare yourself for time. So you see, our next topic, just like he introduced, is about the threats that we have here back there at home in Nigeria. You see, threats have actually evolved. In the past, it used to be just about Yahoo, like you call it. It used to be about viruses on the computers, but today, the attacks have become something else. They are now very sophisticated, from distributed denial of service to ransomware to phishing. If you're in the news, you would have heard what happened in France just yesterday. So these things are happening every day. And that is why we have a platform like this to discuss all of this. So the next voice you're going to be hearing is a voice of an expert in this industry, someone who is very passionate about educating people about security for themselves, security for their organization. Like they always say, security is not achieved. It is actually a progressive thing. So the more you hear about it, the more you're able to know what to do to protect yourself. Bowane is a system engineer. He designs, consults, and maintains secure network infrastructure for various clients across different industries and locations. With over 5 years of experience as a system engineer, Bowane has acquired multiple certifications with Cisco, Fortinet, Sophos, and AWS. He has demonstrated so much technical skills and knowledge in cybersecurity and cloud computing. Bowane has successfully deployed and managed security technologies as firewalls, routers, switches, servers, VPS, IDS, IPS, and others to protect internal information system, increase user retention, reduce incident response time, and secure large contracts. He has also provided pre-sale services, technical support, documentation, and troubleshooting for security projects. Bowane is very passionate about sharing his expertise in cybersecurity. He loves to share topics and let's talk about the trends and things that are happening about security. One thing I've always known about him, he's a very passionate content creator. He's motivated by principles that are reliable. Computer network plays a major role in expediting and optimizing the company's operation. He's always eager to learn new skills, just like we will all be learning today as well, and new technologies. He's committed to delivering high-quality solutions that meet the client's need. Please, get yourself ready as we receive Bowane to take this section on emerging threats in Nigeria, and get yourself ready to take action.
Thank you all for joining once again. Okay, I'll be taking cyber threats in Nigeria, understanding the risk and taking action. The our speaker that is meant to take this actually is not available at the moment for that, and what's it called, official trip, so it was quite impromptu. So I will just take this, and we'll also just enjoy as we lay. Then introduction to cyber threats. When you hear about cyber threats, it's just like, when you talk about malicious acts, intended or unintended malicious acts, or gaining access into what is not yours. Just trying to be, to be very low key so that we can be able to understand and all that. So we see one of the things we understand is that we have data, we have assets. Companies have data that are valuable to them. Organizations have data and assets that are valuable to them. And we have something in cybersecurity that we call tried, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which means that the confidentiality of a data is very, very important to a company, which must not be disclosed to the public. The integrity of that data as well, of that asset, is also very important, which means that the state of that data is not unaltered. So when we talk about threat also is what seeks to damage the data, steal the data, or disrupt digital data or life generally. So it poses threats and all that. And cyber threats can include computer virus, data breaches, denial of service attacks, and other vectors as well. Threat can also be like an earthquake, and so in planning, maybe in an organization, there are many things that many organizations have to put in place to ensure that the security of data and assets has to be properly managed. We call it risk management in cybersecurity, which we'll also delve into. And also, we see cyber threats is also referred to as, the possibility of a successful attack that aims to gain unauthorized access, damage, disrupt, or steal an information technology asset, such as the network, computer network, intellectual property, or any other form of sensitive data. Cyber cybersecurity is all about protection of data and assets and anything that looks valuable to you. So what most organizations do is that they have risk management, and they are able to classify all their data to ensure that they're able to know which one is more important, and based on that, they ask the risk value to be able to do the level of protection for such data and assets. Cyber threats and where they could come from. Cyber threat can come from anywhere, regardless. Can be natural disasters. It can be from threat actors like hackers. It can also be from untrained employees. And we recently heard about what happened to Microsoft and CrowdStrike that's occurred globally and caused blue screen of deaths to almost let's say 40-50% of computers globally. And you could wonder that how would organizations could have protected themselves with that. It's not a cyber attack. We'll classify that as an insider threat because it wasn't a cyber attack, but maybe an employee just woke up one day and just pushed a vulnerable codes into the production asset and all that, and that caused a global outage for Microsoft and all that. And cyber attacks can also come from untrained employees and all that, whereby clicking links without verifying such links. So where untrained employees is that most organizations, they don't take much effort to train their staff about cybersecurity, which is quite bad, and they used to always do a fire brigade approach into cybersecurity. In an organization, in a company, everywhere, everyone is responsible for cyber safety. You understand? If you don't train your employee to be able to identify cyber threats and all that, their threat score will be so high that they can visit any website, click on any link, and they'll be excited to do that because they don't know how to identify when there's a threat in the organization, when an attacker is posing threats, or when there is something fishy. So that's why training and cyber security awareness is very important at all levels, from the lower level even to the executive level. We have cyber attack can also come from disgruntled insiders, hostiles, nation states. Most attackers are not just driven by by money. They don't just want to collect money, because all of this also tends to extorting people to be able to get from them and extort them to get fund and all that. But most attackers also have different intention to cyber threat or to cyber attacks. Most just want to prove that they are bad. They are badass. Most just want to prove that most people are just angry and they want to bring the service down in an organization, and that's why we have denial of service. So there are different intentions into cyber attacks, and we've seen a lot of that put in place and all that. There are cyber attacks that are driven by by them extorting people to pay to pay in order to be able to restore their data, which is ransomware attacks and all that. So we have cyber threats can also come from terrorist groups. We have government terrorist groups launching attacks nationwide. The natural disaster is also part of cyber threats that can pose a great deal of threat to to businesses, organizations and all that. And that's why in the face of establishing a business or organization, most of these things are also being put in place. Actions of authorized users. Most people, based on their level of expertise and all that, when they are maybe deploying the solutions, they deal with misconfiguration of solutions and all that. And this can also pose threats to an organization's safety, cyber safety. In others, we have activists, corporates, and all. Let's move forward. Then, cyber security. We have types of cyber threats. We'll still delve into this. So we are just taking bit by bit so that we can, we are building the blocks so that we can delve into where we are going. So the first in the list in cyber threats is malware, and examples and impact of that is that malware has increased over the time. They are like programs or applications that tend to hack or distort and original applications in order to ensure that they don't function the way they are meant to function. And that's why when you click on a link, or you open an applications, and your laptop or your phone starts misbehaving, there's a malware involved. Malware can also be known as viruses as well. But malware are like an application of course that infects maybe its host to ensure that it behaves in a way that is not meant to behave. And malware attacks are increased by 25% in Nigeria in 2023, which affect both individuals and businesses with financial losses and data breaches. There is a lot of stories around malwares in Nigeria, and attackers, extorting organizations and all that. You just hear that one day there's one business that has lost, a certain amount of money due to cyber threat and all that. And that's the question now is that how are they protecting themselves from malware? Because malware has been from the onset, and it's something that organizations also try to protect themselves from. They will have phishing. Phishing is a common technique to lure people into exposing themselves and leaving their credentials and all that. So there's what we call social engineering in cybersecurity, which means that they can lure you. An attacker can lure you into giving out your credentials, your password, your username, so that they can be able to use it against you. So that's why most times you see a link saying that, you see an email saying that you won maybe $5,000, and you are so excited, or they say you should claim your prize, something you did not do before, and you are getting reward for. So those are things that entices most people to click on malicious links, which lead them to malicious sites, and at the end of the day, they will be extorted, and they will be maybe their account will be hijacked or their fund withdrawn and all that. There's a case that recently happened about a lady that an attacker just wiped away so all of our funds in her bank. And the question is, how did that happen? How did that happen? An attacker something will not just happen on your phone without the factor of you being in it. Like for instance, an attacker will not have access to your phone if you have not given your phone out to someone, or if you have not maybe clicked a link that you are not meant to click, or if you have not installed maybe an application you are not meant to install. So these are the things that causes phishing attacks, and these are the things that people need to start looking into. There was a time I just saw that there's a new application in town which is called MSpy. MSpy is not really available on maybe Google Store or Play Store, but it's a very dangerous application. What it does is that once it's installed on your phone or your laptop, whatsoever you're doing on your phone, whether you're doing WhatsApp, whether you're sending message, whether you're calling, whether everything will be recorded live on the attacker's dashboard. So you will see everything you're doing. And he has another inbuilt application in it, which is called Keylogger. What does that do? What he does is that he just, whenever you're typing, whether you're typing a message and another, as you are typing the message, the keystroke of what you're typing is appearing live. That's so they can use that against you. They can use that to get your password, to get your. So you have to be careful of what the link that you click on. If you have not applied for anything online and they are giving you a reward, you have to be careful to click that link, verify the link, and ensure that you don't fall for cyber. You don't fall for cyber attacks online. Then we have ransomware. Ransomware is a notable incident and consequences for organizations these days. So certainly, as the name implies, is ransomware. That means that what cyber attackers does is that they send it also comes as a link or as an application as well, or as a code that if it's deployed on your phone or your laptop, it encrypts your laptop or your system, and it won't let you do any other thing until you pay or until you get the encryption key to unlock your laptop. What does it mean? It means that when ransomware happens to maybe organizations and all that, it shut them down totally. They won't be able to work. You just encrypt their data until they get the key and until they pay. Ransom means that they have to pay ransom for the attack, for them to get their file back. So imagine you have a system, you have a laptop, and you are working on your laptop. You saw maybe an application or an attacker has access to your application, to your laptop, and he runs a code and executive file and all that. And that's code or application encrypts your laptop. It locks your laptop, and you are not able to work. So we have organizations that have servers that are very important to them, financial servers, databases, and all that. It locks those databases, and they are not able to work. They are not able to do anything until the attacker calls them and say, you have to pay so amount of money, whether in Bitcoin or in dollars and all that, until they give you the key to unlock. And that's ransomware for you. And in 2021, ransomware attack on a major Nigerian bank has led to a temporary shutdown and ransom payment that totals all $2 million. Is always it's always losing of funds and all that. And that's why people have to be educated about all these attacks. Then we have denial of service attacks. Denial of service attacks is just that if you have a service, you're hosting maybe a web server or an application online, and one of what it does is to ensure that the services are not available for the valid users. So you have users maybe trying to access your applications. Let's say you have your banking app, your maybe Stanbic app or your DCB app. Imagine trying to access your application, trying to log into your account. You want to check something, and you're not able to do that due to the flood of requests from cyber attackers. So what they do is that they initiate bots. We call them bots, to send requests to floods of requests to a particular application that is also general to the public, and the intended and valid users that needs to access the application won't be able to have access to it, and that's denying them the service they are meant to have access to. And this has also been an occurrence in Nigeria, and in 2022 Nigeria also experienced several DOS attacks. Particularly this was also targeted to telecommunications providers, which causes a lot of disruptions and also financial losses. At the end of the day, most of these cyber threats will either lead to financial losses or something else. Like what happened with this last time. There's a lot of downturn in financial losses. I saw I went to check the stock of that particular company, and they were down by, let's say, 40%. A lot of financial losses goes into unprotected or attacks that happens. Then we have the middle man in the middle and insider threats. One of the threats that is common and people don't really look into is insider threats. Because insider threat has to do with maybe you work in an organization, you are the user, you are the staff in that organization. Because you are not trained the way you are meant to be trained, you are not informed the way you are meant to be informed, you are able to cause a cyber attacks for the company without an external force. You get. So for instance, you have a maybe USB, you have a flash, or you just saw a flash on the floor and somewhere, and unknowingly you just put it in one of the laptops in your organizations, and you don't know that there is a malicious code in that USB or in that flash drive and all that. So insider threats are always due to ignorance or they are most times intentional. You understand? So these are threats that faces most organizations, and they also need to look into both here in Nigeria. Looking at the Nigeria security landscape, Nigeria's I will just read this and would continue to it. In globally, Nigeria ranks fifth, as the most, in cyber threats, in relation to cyber threats and attacks, globally, Nigeria ranks fifth, and Russia, and while Russia ranks first in the list. And looking at the financial downturns and rising, rising inflation in Nigeria, we've seen many people being desperate to do anything. Many people are being desperate to do anything, to do anything to be able to gain, to be able to survive and all that. And this is the time whereby we should be much more security conscious. You get, because this is the time that many people are looking for any means to be able to put food on their table, or to be able to gain financial freedom and all that. And they're using every means to do that, because Nigeria now, we have more than 30% inflation rate, and a lot of things is going on it that the recent economic situation in the country has caused by high exchange rate, inflation, and low disposable income will also present unique cybersecurity challenges in Nigeria. And unfortunately, as economic situation continues, the hardship may incentivize disgruntled employee to engage in malicious activities for financial gain. So insider-supported attacks also continue to increase astronomically due to the quest to make money, leading to an increase in cyber-related financial crime. So this is time to be able to harm yourself with, guard yourself, to be able to harm yourself, because anything can happen. I will still refer to the recent occurrence about that lady. Be careful of who you give your phone to. Be careful of who you give access to your laptop. Be careful of anything. Be careful. Trust. So there's a concept now in cybersecurity which is called zero trust. Concept, which means that nobody should be trusted. Nothing is trusted. Everything has to be verified. You understand? If they send you a link, you have to verify it. Most times you have to check the link well, check the spelling, or if they ask you, okay, you have to change your maybe your date of birth in your name, in your account, or change something about your account or something. Instead of using the link directly, you can just go to the official page of website manually, browser or anywhere, just to ensure that you are doing your due diligence, just to keep yourself safe online. Then we look at Nigeria's cybersecurity outlook for 2024. We've had, as digital evolution continues to increase, we also have, threat landscape that continues to increase as well. Most of you might not know, most organizations utilizes cloud applications, cloud services, and all that. And before the advent of this COVID-19 and all that, there was little to no adoption of cloud in Nigeria like that, and like that. And that means that the threats in that space at that particular time before 2019, 2020 wasn't that high by now. By now, the threats in the cloud space is very high, because we now have a lot of Nigerian organizations adopting cloud services. And this is why we have to be security conscious. Each organization has to be security conscious. So as digital revolution continues to increase, the cyber threat landscape also will continue to increase. And what we currently have now is AI, emergence of AI, and we've seen a lot that AI has done. Cyber attacks is becoming more easy to deploy. For instance, ransomware, before you have to be a techie, a savvy, before you can launch a ransomware attack as an attacker or as a bad actor. But now anybody can just anybody can launch ransomware. There is what we call ransomware as a service. That means that people are selling in the dark web. They do ransomware as a service. They sell to you already prepared ransomware codes and all that, and it's just for you to do some things and launch. So it's becoming more easy. It's becoming faster because of the emergence of AI. There's a lot about deepfake phishing attack. Phishing means that someone cloning your voice to look like your voice, to sound like your voice, and you won't be able to distinguish between this person's voice and what AI is doing. So this has also been on the increase. Then looking at the Nigeria cybersecurity outlook for 2024, we have economic downturn and heightened insider threat because of the high rates in inflation and how we've seen a lot of inflation rates skyrocketing and all that. We'll see what's it called, aggression and in cyber attacks, most especially in Nigeria. We've seen also escalation of ransomware attacks, 5G exploitation, also adoption of zero trust security models. We've seen a lot of companies also adopting that zero trust concept, apart from VPN for their remote workers. One of the things most people also should also avoid is public Wi-Fi. You just go to somewhere and you see free Wi-Fi, you log into it. You don't know that most times, most of those Wi-Fi are not secure. There might be attacker waiting for you, trying to extort and exploit your communication online so that they can read what you're doing, and that's what we call man in the middle attack. And and what most organizations are now deploying now is zero trust model, which means that for you to be able to have access to anything, you have to keep on verifying and ensure that you are who you say you are. Then we have partnership against cyber threats and cybersecurity inexperience. One of the downturn we've seen is cybersecurity inexperience, and you need awareness, you need training, you need to be informed, you need to be, as technology emerges and is progressing, you need to also keep yourself up to date so that you won't fall victim of the cyber attacks. So we have regulatory and legal framework in Nigeria, especially around cybersecurity, and we have the existing laws, which is cyber crimes prohibition prevention, the Cybercrime Act, which is enacted in 2015. The law addresses various cyber crimes, which includes identity theft, hacking, and child pornography. That's the Amendment Act of 2024. So this amendment, which was assented to by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday, which was in February 28, 2024. Then we have data protection regulation, which was introduced in 2019. It also aims to safeguard personal data and enforce data protection principle. Outside Nigeria, we have a lot of laws, most especially in EU's. EU's is one of that nation that has a lot of laws and regulations around cyberspace. We have GDPR, PPI, and PCI, and all that. So there are challenges in this enforcement. Number one is the gaps in the legal frameworks. Despite existing laws, there are gaps in implementation and enforcement, often due to lack of resources and expertise. Lately, you've seen a lot of jackpotting from Nigeria, which leaves a gap for cybersecurity experts in Nigeria, and also presented opportunities for people to also explore those opportunities. As people are leaving, they're also leaving behind opportunities for people to also explore. But one of the things we've seen in cybersecurity space, even globally, is lack of skills. The skill gaps is very high, and that's why we say a lot of people have to come into cybersecurity. If you look at globally, in terms of jobs that are available and all that, you see that there are a lot of job roles in cybersecurity, but there are lack of skills and all that. So equipment of expertise is very, very important in this area. Then in the regulatory and legal framework, we have implementation issues. Challenge includes inadequate funding, limited awareness among law enforcement agencies, and slow judicial processes. Most organizations coming to the organizational level and enterprise level, and let's say SMEs and and startups, they take, most times organizations and executives take cybersecurity with a pinch of their, with the tip of their of their hand, without great importance, not knowing that cybersecurity is meant to be a driving force for for their businesses, because whenever there is cyber threat, there is nothing an organization can do. You can't, there won't be any form of business continuity. Imagine an organization being hit by ransomware, everything is down. You understand? So cybersecurity is not just something that you take along, it's something that should drive an organization, that should drive an enterprise. It's something you have proper planning for and all that. And these are challenges in enforcing regulatory and legal frameworks. Then we have other laws that are related to cybersecurity in Nigeria. I'll just read this out in the 1999 Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is CFRN. We have number 2, Nigerian Data Protection Act 2023 NDPA, that deals with the protection of personal informations and all that. We have Nigerian Data Protection Regulation, that's NDPR. That's the likes of GDPR global in EU. We have Nigeria Data Protection Regulation Implementation Framework 2020, the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Related Offences Act in 2023. These are laws that are related in cybersecurity in Nigeria. So when there's an issue, there's a law that guides every act in Nigeria. You have to be aware of this. You as an organization, as an enterprise, most of these laws are what guides what you can do, what you can. How, imagine, let's say, in terms of personal information of maybe of people and all that, the laws and the regulation guide how long you can keep the personal information of your customers, what you can do with them, and all that. How you can also secure your databases as an organization and enterprise. So, talking about vulnerabilities, why do cyber threat happens in Nigeria? Most are due to vulnerabilities. When we talk about vulnerabilities, we talk about loopholes. Without loopholes, there won't be access for most cyber attackers. So, for instance, vulnerabilities is that, I'll call it loopholes for better words. Loopholes, I'll call it weakness. Weakness in infrastructure, weakness in host and all that. So, looking at infrastructure for vulnerabilities, we have outdated systems and softwares. Imagine a company still using Windows XP this time. It's full of vulnerabilities that an attacker can exploit to gain access to organizations' data. Most times, if you have a notification to update your software, your Windows server and all that, try to do that. But for in an enterprise level, what should be done is to have a test environment whereby when you push a patch or push an update, you should know that, okay, this update will work with the current system. And without this, most times you'll be vulnerable. Without patching at the right time that you're meant to patch, vulnerable. Most times, why the mistakes most organization makes is that there would have been a patch for a particular vulnerability to maybe a software or to an infrastructure or to, let's say, database or all that for the past maybe 6 months, and yet they've not updated or patched the system, and they will not complain of cyber attacks. Why? Because they've not done their own due diligence. You understand? So outdated systems, and so many organizations in Nigeria still use legacy systems and making them vulnerable to cyber attacks due to lack of security updates. Security updates is very important. Poor network security. I used to say that without proper networking, there is no security. The foundation for cybersecurity is proper networking system. So networking ensures communications, transfer of data, connections, and all that. And if those channels of communications or data transfers or data storage are not well protected, there will be there will be loopholes. They'll be vulnerable to cyber attacks, and these are things that must be looked into. We have human factor as well, lack of awareness and training. This is one of the biggest vulnerabilities in quotes in Nigeria, because most people don't have that level of education. With your WhatsApp, you know that you can enforce two-factor authentication, which means that apart from you using your password to lock your WhatsApp and all that, you can use something that you know, or something you are aware of, to also lock it, which is two-factor authentication. Or I would implore that for every of your software or every of your applications or every of your accounts that you have access to, try and enforce two-factor authentication, even if you have complex password in place. Complex password can also be breached, but two-factor authentication will still take a longer process to be able to breach. So try to enforce two-factor authentication. Most accounts now, whether your social media accounts, your Facebook, your bank accounts, they would always, even most of them will always tell you to do that. So don't just ignore it. Try to do that two-factor authentication. It will help a lot. It will assure you that whenever there is any form of maybe login attempt and all that, it will assure you that you are the one logging. So when someone gets your password, they won't be able to go beyond what they know until you give such approval. And I've seen a lot of tricks that they'll call you, you won maybe so money and all that. We sent you a pin. Kindly send back the pin so that we can be able to verify you. Most times they've tried your number. They've tried using your number to open another WhatsApp, on another phone, and they need those pins to be able to gain full access. So these are the things you need to be able to ensure, to have knowledge of, so to be able to know that, this pin that they are requesting is actually my personal pin, not the bank pin. So you have to be aware. Lack of awareness also keys into a lot of vulnerabilities and downturn for most organizations. So a significant percentage of cyber incidents are attributed to human error, and only 30% of organizations in Nigeria conduct regular cybersecurity training for their employees. Regular cybersecurity training needs to be conducted so that you can users and staffs can be aware of this. Then we have social engineering tactics, exploiting human psychology to gain access to systems, often through phishing emails or phone calls, posing as trusted entity. So, for instance, someone can come up with a web page or a landing page that looks similar to like the GT Bank website, or that looks similar to your Apple website and all that. And it is your own onus to take responsibility to be able to identify which is bad or which is good. Because if you go and enter your credentials in a similar website that looks like maybe GTB, maybe so, for instance, gtbank.com, www.gtbank.com is is the URL for GTBank. They can insert another number that looks like maybe A or B in it to look like GTBank, and it directs you to a page that looks exactly like GTBank, and that's called phishing. So in that page, if you enter your credentials, your username, password, and all that, the attacker or the cyber actors would have access to your credentials because you logged into his own server, not GTBank server and all that. So we have to be aware of social engineering tactics that most people are, most attackers are using to exploit people. So also, Nigerians do not go on leave. So most times Nigerians do not go on leave. As a result of this, a lot of employees have become a persistent threat to organizations. There is a there's a term in cybersecurity that is known as rotation, job rotation, and all that, which means that for every annual year, you have to ensure that a role that a particular employee is facing, someone else comes and takes that role. It ensures fluidity, and it ensures that there is no persistency into what the person is known for. And you can be able to track as an organization what the guy has been doing over the while. So, for instance, maybe user A or staff A has been in a particular position for maybe for 5 months. I get me, and it's giving you a revenue of maybe 20,000, maybe 100,000 naira, for instance, and you just switch role for that person for another person. In switching role, you'll be able to know whether the first guy has been effective over the past few months or not, because judging by what this next one is giving you, you can be able to, give that level of judgment and all that. Then, going on leave as well can also open a lot of cases, because if an employee goes on leave, he doesn't have access to most of the things he was working with while he's on work. So a lot of things can be uncovered while he's out. So you can be able to know as an as a CEO, as an MD, you can be able to know that okay, these are the things that this guy has been doing over the while. And going on leave actually gives a lot of insight into organization structure in terms of what the staff have been doing or what the user has been doing over the while. So you have to encourage users, staff to go on leave. So as a result of this, a lot of employees have become a persistent threat to organizations. Mandatory vacations of 1 or 2 weeks are used to audit and verify the work tasks and privileges of employees. This often results in easy detection of abuse, fraud, and negligence, which is very important. Then what are the risks in cyber threats? The risk most especially is financial losses, and that's what a business doesn't want to face. Financial losses. When there is a threat, when there is cyber attacks, the first thing is that you are not able to have access to the service you are meant to have access to. Your customers or your users, your staff are not able to have access to what they are meant to have access to, which waste a lot of time and also result into financial loss at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, you won't be able to account for most of the work that is being done. So financial loss, looking at direct theft, cyber attacks can result in direct theft of money from bank accounts or fraudulent transactions. Yeah, we have this business disruptions, and that's why most enterprises I've worked for always are what we know as disaster recovery, so that when there is a disaster business disruption on one site, they can continue business on the second site, which is business continuity. Cyber incidents can disrupt business operations, which leads to revenue loss and additional recovery cost. Ransom payments. Ransom payment organizations also face significant financial strain if they choose to pay ransoms in ransomware attacks. Ransomware attacks is very common, and it can happen to anybody. It can happen to any organization, anybody. So far you're online, it can happen to any organization, whether you're an SME or you're a startup or you're a big enterprise. Cyber attackers they don't measure the kind of attacks that they give, whether you are a startup. I remember one of my friends who is a startup founder in the financial sector, said as soon as they launched their app, like their financial app and all that, they started having cyber attacks. As soon as in the app has not been online, they just built it and all that. As soon as they put it online, they just started in less than 10 minutes. They just started receiving a lot of cyber attacks and all that. And that's why even when you're a startup company, you're building an app for for services and all that, you have to be conscious of the security factor to protect the attack, to protect the app from cyber attacks. I had also one of my friends that was extorted from his app. They almost 5 million naira. The way they did it was he didn't even understand. He had to shut down the app, rebuild it, and also put some necessary security codes in place to ensure that that was also rectified. Then we have data breaches. We also heard about the occurrence that happened in Nigeria recently, where um, some attackers have, or I didn't even know, I didn't really know I heard about that, but they have access to the database of one prominent Nigerian organizations, and our data were being sold for common change for 150 and 100 naira. And it's so weary that how could that happen? Is it that there is no proper security in place to protect the database that contains the personal information of almost all the Nigerians in it? So data breach, personal data exposure as number one, which means that unauthorized access to personal data can lead to identity theft, privacy violations. Imagine an healthcare, a renowned healthcare without proper security for their database. Imagine having the health reports of a prominent leader in Nigeria. It will lead to a lot of issues and all that. So this also has to do with data breaches, and you have to ensure that this is put in place. Then we have intellectual property theft. Cyber attacks can also result in the theft of valuable intellectual properties, which includes trade secrets and proprietary information. We have sensitive information leaks. Compromised data can also include confidential business information, leading to reputational damage and competitive disadvantage. So, reputational damage, once you are vulnerable, once you experience cyber attacks, you started losing trust to businesses. Because one of the things, before you can have partnership, one of the things your partners or in business wants to ensure is trust. Trust that you are secure, trust that they can do business with you. And once your company or your organization start having such level of attacks and all that, you lose trust. They won't trust you with businesses and all that, and you will see withdrawal from continue business with you. Reputational damage is one of the things most organizations have faced in the past that really ran them down, and they couldn't continue business again. And this should be looked into. Then loss of trust also led to cyber incidents can erode trust among customers, partners, and stakeholders. Also, it can also lead to brand damage. Negative publicity from cyber attackers can harm an organization's brand image and or market positioning. Then we have customers attrition. Customers may switch to competitors perceive having better security and practices. So once you start having such issues with cyber threats and you don't have things in place to ensure that you are protected and immune from cyber attacks, your customers will start, patronizing your competitors that knows that they know what they are doing, and they are also considering their security as well. Imagine a bank that is not security conscious. Imagine a bank where you save your money and you start having issues. Today, 50,000 naira was withdrawn without your knowledge, and tomorrow you have maybe 1.5 million withdrawn. Before you know it, many people will not patronize such bank again, and which would damage the customer's reputation, bank brand damage, and all that. Then we have operational disruptions, service outage, spoken about that, which is denial of service attack that can disrupt online services and operational workflows. When you see that, most times when you are trying to access a bank app and it keeps rolling, one of the things that could have happened is that maybe there is a form of denial of service attacks on that particular application. It means that you're a valid customer, you don't have access to such application at that moment because of the cyber issues. It could be a factor. Another factor might be that the network is bad, like they used to say in Nigeria. Whenever you don't have access to it anyhow. They'll say the network is bad. But most times it's always beyond that. You get. Then we have the supply chain interruption. Cyber incidents affecting suppliers and partners can have cascading effect on an organization's operation. Then loss of productivity. Time and resources spent on responding to cyber incidents can reduce overall productivity. Imagine you are using the time you are meant to be attending to customer, they're using it to fix an issues and all that. And this can be the risk that plays. So how do we take action? What are the things we need to put in place? The NIST cybersecurity framework can actually help an organization to begin and improve their cybersecurity program, built off of practices that are known to be effective. It can help organizations improve their cybersecurity postures. It also fosters communication among both internal and external stakeholders about cybersecurity, and for larger organizations, helps to better integrate and align cybersecurity risk management with broader enterprise risk management processes as described in the NIST series. So, for instance, the NIST framework has to do with identifying the risk, protecting yourself from such organization. You have to identify where you are vulnerable. You have to identify the threats. You have to be able to identify that before you can be able to protect. So identifying the threats will lead to protection of such, and putting necessary security infrastructures in place to be able to protect. Then you need tools that can easily detect threats in your organizations. From what we discussed in the earlier, you need the various cybersecurity tools as a company, as an organization. I've seen a lot of users, like a lot of people using free antivirus on their laptop and thinking that they are being protected. No, free antivirus doesn't have that capability to protect you from the latest threats, which are more sophisticated and all that. So you need an enterprise-grade antivirus that can protect you beyond what a signature-based antivirus can do. You need an EDR, endpoint detection and response, to ensure that you have that confidence that your laptop is safe, the data on your laptop is safe, and all that. Then you need something that can respond and be able to recover in no time. Then individuals and businesses both also play crucial roles in mitigating cyber threat and enhancing cybersecurity. Also, by adopting safe practices, staying informed, and investing in advanced security measures, they can significantly reduce the risk of cyber incidents. Collaboration and adherence to regulations further strengthen the overall cybersecurity landscape, which also contributes to more secure data environments in Nigeria and beyond. For individuals, you have to have an habit of having a safe browsing habit, which means that you have to be very careful of the site you visit, the links that you click, the emails. You just see a WhatsApp broadcast, and they are telling you about one promo and all that, and you just click the link without knowing it. Some of those things also constitute to your cybersecurity vulnerabilities and safety. So another thing you need to put into your habits is having a strong password and using multi-factor authentication. I can say most of the people that are online here still use a very simple password, maybe their name or their surname or their date of birth as password and codes, which can be easily guessed. So you need to use complex passwords that you can easily remember, that nobody can be able to guess. It takes milliseconds for a brute force attack to happen, because the brute force attack will use databases of existing passwords and some guessing password to be able to brute force and gain access to your account. So you need something complex and unique to be able to safeguard yourself in the cyberspace. Then you need also, for most people, they tend to easily forget password, and you are not meant to have your password crammed in your head. You can't cram. Imagine having like 10 10 accounts. You can't cram each password. So you need a password manager. You should adopt the usage of password manager. The password manager secures your password, and you can easily, refer to your password manager to be able to remember one complex password and another. So using password manager is the best practices for individuals and even businesses at large. Then you need to also do regular software updates. Most times you see a software update on your laptop and you ignore it, maybe for software and all that. It's not that cybersecurity sound for you to ignore updates and software patches whenever you see one. Uh, um, you should regularly install. You should regularly update your software, your operating systems, and all that. And one more thing you also have to put in place is to make sure that as you are updating your password and all that, you're also removing some applications you are not using. Some applications, you download a lot of applications, you have a lot of software on your system, and they are not, you've not opened them for like maybe you have not opened them for like maybe 5 months. They can be vulnerable. They can become vulnerable to your system. So you have to delete applications or software you are no longer using, so that they won't become a backdoor for an attacker to have access to your systems and all that. Then you have to have a habit of regular backups of your data. So for instance, most the the system or laptops, phones you use most times are not reliable. They can pack up at any point in time, and when they pack up, you'll be denied of your of your data and all that. So one best practices to do is continually update and back up your data to the cloud or to anywhere safe. You can have an external hard drive to back up your data to ensure that most data that are critical to you are somewhere else apart from maybe your systems or any other place. Then you need awareness and education. You need to constantly stay informed about the latest in cybersecurity. When you stay informed about cyber threat, it enhances your posture as well, to be able to know the steps to take to safeguard your most important asset and data online. Then for businesses, regular security audit and assessment is very important. There are some partners or some business organizations that won't partner with you until you become compliant to some certain things, until you put some security tools in place. Yes, they won't partner with you. They won't work with you until you have some security tools in place to ensure data safety, asset safety, and all that. So regular security audit and assessment will give you such level of visibility into your environment, into what you need to put in place and what you need to also take out to be able to ensure a proper security posture of your business and all that. Then you need to also regularly have cybersecurity and procedures. Policies and procedures ensure that, okay, when this thing happens, what are the things that needs to take place? What are the procedures of how things are meant to be done? The policies of how things are meant to be done has to be documented. These are how things are meant to be done. You have it documented so that when anybody comes into place, such policies and procedure holds for such stars. So you need that in place and all that. Employee training and awareness programs has to be constant. Sometimes it has to be weekly. Most times, maybe every Friday. There are cybersecurity solutions that give such level of employee training awareness, such that they groom your employee. They show them the level of their knowledge in the cybersecurity space, and they educate them as well, and they also test them. So such softwares or products should be in place for your employees so that they can always be updated on cyber trends, cybersecurity trends, and all that. Then incident response planning will also be in place. Whenever there is an issue, there should be a plan on how things should be responded to. So let's say, for instance, there is an attack, a ransomware attack, and all that. Who is the first person to call up? What is the first set of things to do? And in the incident response planning, there are a lot of frameworks that can be adopted, which is very important for organizations, most especially at the enterprise level. Even from the SMEs, startups needs to start adopting such response, because you also plan to scale to become an enterprise. So as you are scaling and as you are growing, you're also adopting those procedures, planning, incident response, and all that. Then you need to put in place advanced security tools and technologies for your protection. Then we have data protection and privacy measures, collaboration and information sharing, compliance with regulations, and all that, which I've spoken about. So the key takeaway here is that the biggest threat is human. So the biggest threat that we've ever seen is human, and the biggest and the biggest defense against cybersecurity threats is human. So depending on the level of knowledge that you have, that makes you one of such category, whether you are a threat or whether you're a defense to maybe to your organizations or to anywhere. So the biggest threat is human, the biggest defense is human, and the biggest security to assume breach every time. The best security is to assume breach every time. The best security is to always assume, is to be proactive of what an attacker can do, and so that you can be able to take your position and put them in place. So instead of trust, but verify. Trust nothing. That's zero trust concept. Always verify whether you have internal users and all that, or external users. You have to continuously put systems in place that verifies the authenticity of devices, users, and all that. Then lastly, like, Nigeria still has a long way to go. Both individuals and businesses have a collective responsibilities in mitigating cyber threats. Like I mentioned, or like I said earlier, cyber security is not the responsibility of the experts or the techies. It's your responsibility, it's my responsibility. And we need to begin to assume such responsibility. When you keep your money in the bank, it's not the bank has their own responsibility to keep your money safe. You also have your responsibility to ensure that your credentials to log into your account is not exposed, so that you can be safe as well. So it's your responsibility to keep yourself safe in the cyberspace as well. Thank you so much for this.
Wow, that was very exhaustive, Bawandi. I mean, that was so educative. You really did justice to that. Something struck when you mentioned about your friend who is in the fintech, and they had just launched an app, and on the same day they launched the app, they were already being attacked. It resounded because I once built a system, a monitoring system. It's actually a honeypot. What we call a honeypot is security. Like something you disguise to make the attacker look like that's the asset, the actual asset they are looking to attack. So you create something that looks similar to that and then bring them in. So I created a system like that, it's a honeypot, and I made it very vulnerable to the internet. And within just 1 hour, I had people from all over the world. I had people from Russia. I had people from the US, from just all over the globe trying to attack that particular machine. So it is that serious. I hope you're enjoying this section, and please get everyone that needs to hear this to come. Do not forget to subscribe to our channels. They will be there on these platforms. And if you have questions, let's put down your questions. We'll have time to go through your question. And like I said at the beginning, we have arranged for you several experts in the industry. I'm sure the next name you're about to hear, you must have heard about him. This might not be your first encounter with him, but he's a seasoned cybersecurity evangelist. He's passionate about what he does, and he'll be taking us through the topic, The Future is Now, Emerging Technologies and Their Impact on Cybersecurity Job. I know the first thing that comes to your mind already is AI and machine learning. So please open up your mind. You'll be hearing, I tell you, this speaker is diverse. He comes with a totally different perspective. Prepare your mind to gain deeper knowledge about this particular topic. He has been mentoring cybersecurity engineers for over 12 years. So he has over 12 years of experience under his belt. He's been in tech for 18 years. He has worked in various technical capacity with ISP, VAR, VAD, OEM across the EMI region, providing cybersecurity solutions and services to organizations. In the process, sharing his vast experience with customers and partners alike. He's a graduate of computer science and has a background in coding and Cisco networking. He's a cybersecurity evangelist, often warning organizations and individuals about data privacy and overexposure of personal information on the internet. When not working, he enjoys ghostwriting and watching documentary on history, nature, and science. Receive with me Chris Tola to take this next section.
Right, so we're talking about emerging technologies and how it impacts modern cybersecurity. So once again, my name is Mustola. I've been around for quite a while. She already said so much, so I don't have to put on this again. All right. And it's a very interesting background picture. This is what people think about when we talk about cybersecurity. A couple of guys, they're watching the screen and doing stuff. But usually more than that, modern cybersecurity personnel has various roles that doesn't necessitate them sitting around like with a computer. Some of them do something more highly up than necessarily hackers. They're like wits. All right. So when it comes to cybersecurity, the most important thing is interests. Are you really interested? Do you have an interest in protecting organizations? Do you have interest in educating people about what's going on about attackers, hacker actions? This is very, very important. And according to the ISO2F World Documents Forum, there is a shortage of about 3.4 million jobs in cybersecurity. That means there are several roles and reasons in the field. So if we're thinking of making a switch from, currently of a legal cybersecurity, for example, there's so many jobs out there with employee. And also, it's very important to be hands-on when it comes to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not just something in theory, it's something that you need to practice through regularly. It doesn't need to be worked with AI in this page because everybody knows that AI will definitely come up. But then I'm going to talk about something that I would interest about the was when it comes to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is mostly machines that have been programmed to work in a certain way. They can learn is what machine learning, so that they can tell like human being. They can try to segregate what's not being sent to. But when it comes to decision making, when it comes to creativity, when it comes to looking at things from the wider perspective, AI is kind of narrow-minded herd in. So I would say overhyped, but it's not exactly what we think it is. There's still a long way to go. We still got human beings. So this 3.4 million jobs that are available, AI can fill some of those tasks, but not necessarily the roles. So you need human beings that are sharing those two really work together to achieve coverage for those roles that currently exist.
So what's currently happening in the cybersecurity world? You've already seen that from the previous speaker as well. We have a huge skills deficit. We have several cybersecurity roles. If you go to linkedin.com/jobs, you will find several cybersecurity roles and not enough people to fill them. That's the problem right now. In Nigeria, it's even worse with the Jackpot syndrome, where people leave in droves to countries like Canada, like the US, the UK, and many countries in Europe and Australia as well. So they take the best people in Africa, and then we have to now retrain and train the existing people. So what that means is people need to start thinking about cybersecurity as an option, because the next factor, which is automation, is a major threat, even a much bigger threat than artificial intelligence, which is automation. Automation means basically trying to make tasks that humans generally do, making them easier. So when it comes to automation, you would mostly automate stuff that are done, how do I put it now, repetitive tasks, routine tasks. Those are things that you can easily automate. So that makes it easier, because when human beings do something repeatedly, it leads to what we call fatigue. And when there's fatigue in cybersecurity, it's really risky because when there's noise fatigue, for example, defenders will miss important signals that would lead to a major attack. And that's why automation has come in to make it easier for those things to work. So with automation now, we can now bring in many solutions into one umbrella so that they can talk to one another, and we can automate response, especially to help to reduce the time it takes to identify what attackers are doing and remove them from the entire network. So automation is a major factor that is changing the cybersecurity world. And then, of course, if you add artificial intelligence to automation, you get the best of both worlds, really. You get the best of both worlds, right? So it's very important to think about artificial intelligence as a skill that needs to be added because it's also changing the cybersecurity landscape today. So how is artificial intelligence improving cybersecurity? In so many ways. Number one is that we need to see artificial intelligence as a partner, as a collaborator, and not necessarily replacing us or taking our jobs. So AI should not be seen as a competitor. There are many statements out there, and they're true, that someone using artificial intelligence will replace someone who is not using artificial intelligence. So you have to learn to adapt to the changes, the dynamic nature of cybersecurity across the world, and Nigeria is not an exception. Also, in the area of threat detection, we're seeing artificial intelligence helping a lot with that because it's mostly repetitive. It's a lot of noise. We're talking about, for those that work in security operations centers, we're talking about thousands of detections every hour. Right, it's something that human beings are not really made for. They will miss important signals. So artificial intelligence is really helping to come in there and help us to look at those detections, prioritize them, assign severity scores to them, severity levels to them, so you know which ones are low, medium, high, or critical. And that would help you to manage your time properly to go after the high priority ones. Right. So AI is also helping us in the areas of threat intelligence, can connect multiple threats labs together so that they can derive intelligence from them. And in real time, if you're working in a SOC, for example, AI can help to check intelligence on a particular URL or domain. If it's malicious, if it's developing, it will give you the insight that you need to make the decision that you need to make. And also in the area of prevention, the earlier speaker talked about that, Wale talked about that. AI is also helping the controls. So if you're forcing the security framework, cybersecurity framework, AI is there to also help to augment your prevention and protection mechanisms. When it comes to real-time monitoring as well, AI is also right in the thick of it because artificial intelligence models are very, very fast. When it comes to machine learning especially, they've learned over millions or billions of samples even, so they can identify, for example, malicious files within 20 milliseconds. That's how fast they are. So they're very good when it comes to real-time monitoring and can also help you to prioritize your response activities. In areas of behavioral analysis, AI also excels because AI can, based on the training, also analyze and detect anomalies, detect unusual behaviors. So those kind of behaviors, for example, if an administrator wakes up at 3 a.m. and starts creating new admin account, or starts writing registry keys, or starts putting processes in scheduled tasks, AI knows that this is an anomaly. It's an unusual behavior for an admin or for a senior person to do that at that time, maybe on a Saturday night. And you can flag it to the defenders to take a look at it. AI can also help with case summarization. AI helps with predictive analysis. This is very important as well. You want to predict the next steps based on what you're seeing right now. So you can be 2-3 steps ahead of the attackers. When you see a particular pattern, you know what's coming up next because you've seen this several times using the machine learning model. So this really helps defenders to predict what the attackers are going to do. Also, we have deception technologies that are augmented by artificial intelligence. She mentioned honeypot, for example, is one of them. So AI can also help us to throw the attackers off balance. So there are other applications of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity. One of them has to do with data security. AI helps to classify data because it can identify what kind of data this is. You can see bank account or medical record or social security number. and then know that this is personal data that should be protected. So if it's not encrypted, you can flag it to the administrators. So classification is very, very important, and AI helps us to achieve that easily. So there are several ways that AI is helping cybersecurity, and that is also making work easier for us who defend organizations. In the light of that, if you have been looking at LinkedIn jobs, for example, or you've been looking at AI jobs, you would notice the particular trend. There are certain skills that employers seem to be looking for when it comes to artificial intelligence. One of them is that they need you to understand how to use programming languages, scripting. We were talking about Python, for example. You need to be able to use APIs, that's programming interfaces. So if you're able to write scripts with Node.js or React or REST, for example, you're going to be invaluable to such an organization looking for those skills. So you need to be able to understand programming languages and also scripting. And you need to use artificial intelligence if required to help you augment that. Another skill employers are looking for is experience in intrusion and threat prevention. So this is something that you can learn on your own. You can learn online, or you can even learn from specific OEMs or manufacturers who make this product. Some of them make their trainings free. So you should endeavor to learn some of these technologies, because putting them on your CV puts you in a better position to get an interview or a job. Employers are also looking for people who have experience in risk identification and also risk management. So you need to look out for that as well. They're also looking for people who are experienced in information security and assurance. They're looking for general security operations, SOC analysts, threat analysts. They're looking for people skilled in GRC, people that understand cybersecurity frameworks like the NIST, for example, which Boali mentioned earlier. It's very important to understand the cybersecurity frameworks, the layouts, the guidance for what should be done, the controls you need to put in place for you to have modern cybersecurity. Most importantly, employers want to work with someone that they can communicate with, that can communicate with them, that can look at the report and communicate as a human being, not as a machine, to the management or to their managers. And they need people that can think on their feet, especially if you're a pen tester, for example. You have to be very, very creative. You have to have critical thinking skills. These are some of the things that employers are looking for. These are things that you gain, through experience, through learning, and through internship. In terms of job openings, like I said, you could go to linkedin.com/jobs, or just go to linkedin.com, search for cybersecurity, choose jobs. You would see a lot of jobs in Nigeria, in West Africa opening up. Then read the description, read what the employers are looking for. That would give you an idea of this kind of skills you need to learn to be applicable to cybersecurity in modern times. So one of them is cloud security engineer. They're looking for cloud security engineers. Boali mentioned that digital transformation has made a lot of people go to the cloud. So AWS, for example, Azure, you see a lot of certifications from these organizations, some of them even free, which you should be taking. They're looking for pen testers, people who have experience in pen testing. So having a certification, I'll talk about certification later, is not does not necessarily mean that you actually know what you're doing. So they need to see that you have an experience in doing this. They also need DevSecOps, not just DevOps, right? So they need security engineers who can work with application teams, monitor CI/CD pipelines, ensure that you're not vulnerable to attacks, and also ensure that you maintain compliance even in the cloud. So if you're auto-scaling, you should not be in breach of compliance for any reason. Employers also specifically ask for soft skills. Soft skills range from communication, ability to work with a team, ability to work remotely or face to face. So some of these soft skills are learned also by experience or by internship, which you should have, and you should put that on your CV as well. Employers seem to prefer hands-on experience over certification or education. Although in Nigeria, we still see a lot of job openings asking for BSc in computer science, but that is going to change. From my experience, I'm seeing that what you studied in school doesn't really matter. So you could study Yoruba in school and be a great cybersecurity expert. It doesn't really matter. So employers are beginning to see that hands-on experience is much better than you just having a certification. It's good to have a certification, but you should be able to defend the certificates that you have. So it's more important for you to have that experience. So go through the training, even if you're not writing the exam, go through the training, prepare your own lab, and then put it on your CV, the task that you've carried out regarding that certification. So it's very important. So don't say you don't have money to write the certification. Take the courses. Most of the courses are free. Take the courses and, set up your own lab. Setting up a lab is very easy if you're in a community, if you have mentors that can help you. At CyberPoint has several community forums and groups where people come to share ideas. People can help you to set up your lab. Once you set up these labs, you can do those tasks and you can put them on your CV that you have done those tasks, even if you don't have the certificate. So it's very important to have hands-on experience. Hands-on experience can also come from you volunteering. I'll talk about that later. There are several ways to get experience. So don't wait because you just written an exam and start waiting for a job. No, you need that experience, because without that experience, you probably would not get that interview you're looking for. Employers are also looking for white hat hackers mostly for penetration testing. These are hackers who understand ethics, who are ethical in terms of in the way they approach pen testing. They don't do it to attack organizations and make money from them. They do it to show organizations their vulnerability and advise them, recommend how to fix it. So these are some of the skills that employers are also looking for. We're now seeing employers specifically looking for artificial intelligence skills. So AI itself needs security, right? So security of the artificial intelligence models or solutions themselves are required. So they need AI security specialists. They need ethical artificial intelligence personnel, so like those in legal or those in advisory. And also they need artificial intelligence system auditors as well. So you're seeing new cybersecurity roles specifically mentioning artificial intelligence. That means you as a cybersecurity personnel or someone who aspires to move into cybersecurity need to start taking artificial intelligence seriously. So you want to take courses like machine learning. Those courses will help you to be more relevant in this job roles. So this is some of the trends that we've seen. So if you go to linkedin.com/jobs, you can see a lot more requirements that are coming out on a daily basis, and that would help you to channel your studies in the right direction. So you want to make a switch to cybersecurity, you're welcome. Anybody can switch to cybersecurity, even if you're 60 years old. You want to move to cybersecurity, this is the time. There's no better time to switch. Now that AI is still, kind of sweet for everyone. So if you want to switch, one of the easiest way to do this is to look within your organization. We said there are about 3.4 million cybersecurity jobs, open, and no one is filling them that fast. So the easiest way for you to fill them is to look inwards. So your company will be needing cybersecurity personnel soon. So if you're in accounting or you're in HR, start going to the IT department, go to cybersecurity department, sit with them, see what they are doing, express interest, let them mentor you, let them tell you what to do, start taking these online courses, go to them when you have questions. Because when those roles come up, a lot of time, even in the forum, I've seen Bawali and a couple of other guys, ask for network security engineers, right? So most of these jobs don't even get to LinkedIn. They're internal openings where only people within the community know about it. It doesn't even get online. So if you don't put yourself out there, people would not think about you when such roles open. So within your organization, they already know you, and then a cybersecurity role comes up. It will be easier for you to switch because you're already within the system. They already trust you. So your interview will be very, very smooth. Probably won't even need an interview if they already know your capabilities, right? So start within your own organization. Don't look outside. Start from there first and then move on from there. The next one is to volunteer. It's very important. If you want to switch to cybersecurity, you may have to volunteer because you don't have the pedigree yet. Nobody trusts you. Nobody knows what you can do. So if you have the skills, try to volunteer, and that would also help to ignite your interest in cybersecurity, because it's very important to be interested in what you want to do. The next thing is to learn. You have to learn. There are several resources on YouTube, on Spotify, on LinkedIn. Generally, over the internet, there's several free courses. I see people posting links all the time, CBT nuggets and the rest that you can learn from. So choose a particular path that you would like from I'm going to talk about solution later, but you need to learn. And after learning, you need to train. You need to train yourself. You need to go through training if you have to. There's some paid trainings as well. Or you could have someone train you if you want to. After the training, you then need to practice regularly. I mentioned earlier, you need to set up your own lab. setting up a lab, you would need to have a laptop that's fast enough to run VMs if required. Not necessarily VMs. Some of these tasks are in the cloud. So there are stuff like capture the flag that you can undertake on the cloud, right? So you need to have a computer that has good internet that can allow you to practice this task. And then once you practice them successfully, you can then update your resume or your LinkedIn profile that you have the skills, right? So once you made any improvement in cybersecurity, you need to update your skills. People need to know that you now have those skills and you can defend them. You also need to grab artificial intelligence skills. So courses around data science, data analytics, algorithms building, and generally artificial intelligence-based cybersecurity tools, you need to start learning to use them. Some of them are proprietary, so you may need to sign up with an OEM or even sign up through a partner. So in many cases, some of these trainings are free for partners of those organizations. So you may need to partner with those organizations or volunteer to work there so you can have access to the free training materials. You need to get this exposure any way possible. It will not come to you, so you have to go out and get it. All right. And whatever you've learned, you need to flaunt it on the internet. That's the way it works. People need to know that you can do this. They would not come to you and ask you, can you do this? They need to see that you have done this and you have the capability to do it. So keep doing it. And most importantly, last but not the least, is certifications. All right. So there are several people trying to switch to cybersecurity. And what differentiates you mostly is the certificates that you have. Because there's no way to start asking you, do you have this capabilities? The certification already summarizes what you are supposed to know how to do. So certifications can get you interviews, but the hands-on experience would help you to land the role. So that's very important. So don't just get certificates and pack them and wait for interviews to come. No, make sure every certification you have, you can actually defend it. So what's the career path to cybersecurity? There are several certifications. I already mentioned that you need to have an interest. You need to have someone mentor you. Start from your organization if possible. You also need to have the right environment for you to train, to practice, and also update your skills. And then the certification part now. The common one is the certified cybersecurity. This is from ISC2. This introduces you to cybersecurity, as it were, all the most important domains for you to learn, to be familiar with the basic concept, the fundamentals of cybersecurity. From there, you can then branch off into whatever you want to do. If you want to focus on GRC, internal auditing, if you want to work in a SOC, you can then branch off. Security Plus is one of the most respected cybersecurity certifications, entry-level certifications that you can have. So some of the job roles I've seen also ask for Security Plus. And if you want to be an ethical hacker, you want to be a white hat, hacker, you want to do pen testing and stuff, you can start with offensive security certifications, including certified ethical hacker, which is very, very popular. I've also put down a link here, cybersec.org. You can go to cybersec.org. I think I grabbed some screenshots here. So you can go to cybersec.org. You would see the various roles available in cybersecurity, the entry-level roles, the mid-level roles, the advanced-level roles. It's an interactive page. If you go through that link, when you put your mouse on any of these entry-level roles or mid-level roles, it will show you the pathway. If you have certain certifications, this is the path you will be able to take, and this is where it will lead you to, right? So you can see them. So go to that URL, cybersec.org, and click on pathway or certifications. You would then be able to interact with this graphics. It would show you your path, the path you can end up, from the entry level to the advanced level. So most people want to become a CISO. That's the overall cybersecurity boss in an organization, right? Most people want to become a CISO. So there are several paths you can take to becoming the CISO as well. So this is a real screenshot I took earlier, yesterday or today. There were several jobs posted on LinkedIn for cybersecurity, even in Nigeria. So I clicked on some of those open roles. Most of them are level 2 roles, not beginner roles, sorry, but sometimes beginner roles also come up, right? So you can see the education experience and skills that they require, right? So they're asking for 4 years experience in cybersecurity for this particular level, which is difficult to come by, right? So you have to train yourself, update your skills, and show that you have that experience over time. So these are some of the things that they asked for. I think I grabbed a copy of that and put somewhere here. Yes. So if you look at this one here, the bottom right corner, you would see CASP plus, CH, GCIA, CISA, CISSP, some of the situations that they requested for those open roles. So they're always going to be. So to recap, it's very important to be interested in cybersecurity. So interest is the most important thing. If you're not interested, you may not succeed. So what is driving your interest? Is it money? Is it the fact that you want to protect people? You need to be interested in cybersecurity. So you should put yourself out there, join webinars, join cybersecurity roadshows, join events of cybersecurity to update yourself, to know what exactly is going on and how fast things are changing. Because of course, the elephant in the room is always going to be artificial intelligence. There are always going to be concerns about is AI going to replace us? Is it going to take our jobs? Like I said, AI is far from doing that for now. The AI that we have out here is mostly just hype. To be honest with you, when it comes to cybersecurity, except in the areas of routine tasks or repetitive tasks being automated, we are not really getting as much value. In the areas of detection, yes, we are, but when it comes to decision making, AI is still not very reliable. To give you an example, I came very late for this event because I trusted Google Maps. That's an application that uses artificial intelligence. Google Maps tells me, take this route, you'll be there in about 33 minutes. And it says there's about 5 minutes delay somewhere. And then you go into that route, and then that 5 minute delay turns to 1 hour. That's one of the failures of artificial intelligence. It has done its job based on what it has learned, but then human beings understand nuance better. Human beings are more creative. Human beings have the larger picture, but AI is kind of like narrow-minded. So AI is still far from replacing cybersecurity roles, but they're able to automate the tasks. Some of those tasks, roles are made up of tasks, right? So if AI is automating some of those tasks, that means your workload will reduce. You can then focus on more complex tasks. You can focus on strategic initiatives of the organization rather than just chasing after the routine stuff, which AI and automation will do for you. So AI is also going to be very important. So the 3.4 million jobs out there, they're going to be augmented by a combination of cybersecurity skills that you have and your use of AI tools. So if you want to be relevant, you must start using AI tools. You must start learning to build artificial intelligence. Start using generative AI tools like ChatGPT to help you with coding or scripting, as it were. Then finally, it's very important to be hands-on. Hands-on is more important than just certificates. So don't just go after certificates because you want to get a job role. Get hands-on experience. The interviewers know, because cybersecurity is a very practical role, right? It's filled with practical roles, so it's not something you can talk your way through. You need to show that you actually have the experience, all the skills to be able to survive. And also, soft skills are very important. The ability to communicate, the ability to interpret, the ability to think on your feet is also very important for cybersecurity, right? So the barrier for entry is now quite low. You don't have to be a techie to become a cybersecurity personnel, right? So there are several roles like showed you. If you want to go into audit, you want to go into vulnerability, management. If you want to join the GRC team, if you want to join the ethics team. So there are several roles for everyone that wants to move to cybersecurity. It's not just the technical roles. So feel free to join. Feel free to take the training, pay the price, get a mentor, put yourself out there, update your CV, volunteer if you have to get the relevant skills, and I believe that you will be successful. Then don't forget to follow the group on YouTube, on social media, and also on LinkedIn as well. Ensure that you capture everything that we're doing, participate in the forums when people ask questions, help them with the answers. And like I said, a lot of jobs come up on these groups that are not posted anywhere online, because those jobs require you to know who you're giving the jobs to. And when you put yourself out there, people begin to know you. So it's very important for you to be active and to be visible in the cybersecurity world. I think that'll be all from me. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you. I mean, you did so much justice to this topic. The frequent thing we have been hearing today is that AI will take a lot of jobs. AI will take a lot of jobs. But one thing I can tell you is there are certain jobs AI cannot do, just like Chris said. For instance, in the SOC, the Security Operations Center, we have what we call the SOA, that is the security
Orchestration.
orchestration and response, automation and response, So you find out that it can do certain level of detection and alerting, but you still need a human being to profile this and to go into detailed responses. So those are the kind of functions that AI cannot, right now, like you said, the maturity for AI is, we're not there yet. So there's still a lot of opportunities for humans who want to get into this field to actually take advantage. Like he said, you can go into government risk and compliance, you can go into auditing, all those are not so techy roles. And do not get overwhelmed because the field is actually very, very, very vast. It's a very broad field. But like Chris said, if you stay around the community, you hang out around people who are doing this, you hear the new development, the trends, and you also stumble upon these opportunities. So hang around the opportunity, around the community, and sharpen your skill. Like, you do not have any excuse. I mean, no excuse whatsoever. He gave that statistics. The data is very correct. I'm sure the next time you're checking this data is actually higher. The number of shortage in this field, it's getting higher on a yearly basis. So there is a huge opportunity out there for you, for anyone who is interested to come into the field. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much, Bawale. I mean, it's been an awesome time. It's been an awesome 1 hour and learning, exploring trends and all that shapes our digital world. I hope you have taken something out of here. We have a few questions. Chris, I'm going to take them now, and we'll see how we can try to explore them. Two of them are quite similar, so I'll take the one that goes into a bit of depth. It says, what happens when a password manager is hacked? And the person goes forward to say, both production servers and backups get code that prevent the data usage. And then a second, I think this is a following question. It says, how secure would you say that PAM, that is the privileged access management, is?
So if a password manager
let's reveal what happens. So that means that the attacker has the passwords. But the good thing is the world is moving away from passwords that are wrong, right? So cybersecurity is to address this is that even your password we hack should not need to define that taking over your account of this. There's multi-factor authentication. The passwordless solution. Even Microsoft, I think that's all Microsoft is less 2-3 years still doing the password company, the metrics. There are several ways, right? So password should not be the only way to get into your account. And many passwords can be that. And it's a delay thing.
I at some time, I think that was like 2 months ago, I was on TV and the presenter asked exactly the same question. So I thought it was a very, very intelligent one. For maybe people who are not so exposed, do not have a lot of knowledge. And my simple answer was, I mean, these companies, they have the task and they have the capability to protect that data. So that shouldn't be an excuse. Do the first thing you have to do first. The first step is to have a password manager. And like you said, MFA, you can't beat that. Once you have MFA activated, you see, sometimes we just say these things, but we do not go ahead to activate them. We don't implement them. When you implement them, you see that the what we're talking about is actually almost nothing. Thank you for that. The next question says, when updating, do we truly update our software and OS, or we are just importing updates of harmful plugins?
Okay, so this goes to this question is more about supply chain attacks, right? So when you download updates, it's a supply chain, right? They're coming to you through someone else. So if the update source is already compromised, of course you get the vulnerability too. So that means you now need to trust the company that you are updating from. Are they trustworthy? Same goes for the apps you download on your phone. So it's possible that the app provider may have been hacked. The attacker has already poisoned the update, and then you get the update, and now the attacker has access to your mobile phone or your network, as it were. So it happens like that. But the updates that are critical that could, be damaging are the ones that have to do with the operating system, and most likely your antivirus solutions or your firewalls or protection solution in general. And this kind of organizations, they have really high standards for the update process. There are several stages, from the development to testing, staging, quality assurance before it goes live. They've done a whole lot of tests, so there's very little chance that those updates will come to you poisoned. So I think you should worry more about your own. Of course, it's important to worry about that because we are human beings and humans are very prone to errors. So humans can make mistakes, and so it's a worthy concern. But I think that the risk is really, really low from that. The risk is more from you, the end user, and how you use the tools that have been given to you. So I've seen people who bought millions of dollars worth of cybersecurity and just they didn't turn it on. Right? It was just there. That's a human being. We see that a lot in the cloud. People deploy stuff in the cloud. They have files in the cloud, and none of them is working. It's not turned on. So at that point, the updates are not the major issue. In terms of updates too, we have vulnerability management. We have stuff like ESM, that's external attack surface management, or the internal attack surface management, that can help you to scan for vulnerabilities that's in operating systems or applications and prioritize them, tell you which ones to patch first, which ones are critical. Those also help you. So please, you have to trust those updates if they're coming from a reputable source, because that should be the least of your worries. The major worry should be from you and how you use the tools that are being updated.
Thank you so much. So correct. Like you were talking, I remember Bawali mentioned something. He said when you see some of this free stuff, be wary of them. So your source is also very important. Your source, where you're getting your updates, your downloads, and all of that is very important. Then talking about having features that are not being maximized. Just yesterday, I and a colleague were talking about this. We are in the business of selling solutions, right? And then because we are security people, we keep offering more solution after solution after solution. And I asked him a question. Do you think some of these customers are maximizing the capacity and capability of some of these solutions? And what we see when we go into the environment is most of the time they do not maximize half of what that capability, that particular solution is supposed to do. The same thing with you and I. We back here home in Nigeria, we are actually very early adopters of technology. So you find out that we adopt these technologies, but we do not do we don't go the extra mile. For instance, a new technology comes out, and for most of them, for instance, the iPhone, for every time there's a new release, it always comes with the security features. But most times, people do not bother about that. So that is what we are talking about. That is what this platform is about, educating you to take those little simple steps. I say it all the time. Really, security is your responsibility. It's your responsibility to begin to think about creative ways to actually protect yourself, your organization, and people around you. Thank you for those questions. There is one more question. It says, are there any openings for internship or volunteer?
Okay. This is something I think we can ask in the group. There are openings from time to time, but you can, like I said, you can create one yourself. Like if you currently work in an organization, it's easier for you to intern there. Even if you're not in the cybersecurity department, if you're in, let's say, HR or marketing or sales, you want to move to cybersecurity, the easiest way for you to intern is your organization, because they already know you, they already trust you to an extent. So that would be the easiest. But you can come to the group. I see a lot of such posts in the group asking for security engineers, asking for people to volunteer or stuff like that. So there's stuff, like I said, you need to put yourself out there, participate more in the group, in the discussion, the forums, and you'll get this opportunity, because most of the time they don't broadcast them. They're internally generated, so you might not even hear about it from anyone else. So please, try to be more visible in the forums, the groups. Help other people. That's how people get to know you. Help people who ask questions. And if you need mentorship, reach out to us as well. So if you want to volunteer, that means you're not asking for any payment or anything, right? You want to learn. So I believe there are a lot of people who will gladly, take you up on that offer.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually very correct. Put yourself out more there. And then labs, you can never take away the place of lab for those who are trying to make their way into the field. There are very simple labs. Just go. I mean, I was telling someone, you really, for everything you need, there are industry experts right there on YouTube doing these things. There are people who are creating technologies. There are people who are building solutions, and they're talking about them right there on YouTube, right there on this platform, and they're accessible. Go there. For instance, you can create a file integrity monitoring solution in just 10 minutes. You can create a film in 10 minutes, and you have that in your CV. All you need to do is search. Just know what you're looking for. There are several other of those kind of labs right out there. So look for those labs, learn exactly what they are about, and try to recreate them. And like Chris said, you own them, and you're in the community, and people can see, oh, he or she can create a file integrity monitoring system. Wow, let's talk. Unlike when you're just there and then there is nothing. So just put yourself out there.
I'll give an example there. So I have this guy on my list. He started, not to keeps posting stuff. So when I see opportunities around that, I reach out to him because I see he's actively doing. He's putting himself out there. So I don't need to start asking people, do you know someone who can do it? Because I've already seen someone that can do it.
Exactly.
So if you put yourself out there, you get more opportunities in cybersecurity. That's just the way it is.
Certainly, it's as simple as that. Then the next question is, it says, kindly assist with the lab. Thanks. I think I've addressed that. Except you want to say something else, like go to the YouTube. I'm sure Chris knows more channels.
Yes,
right?
yes. So if you can drop a comment in the group, in any of the groups, we'll attend to you.
Okay, so you find the link to the community in the description of our YouTube channel. I think one more question. They say, what certifications do I have to do for AI jobs without having any experience or background in tech?
Okay. So for AI, I'm not sure I've seen specific certifications for cybersecurity, because AI is still kind of, it's not new to cybersecurity, but like I said, the applications are kind of restricted, right? So almost every cybersecurity certification now has updated their curriculum to include artificial intelligence. Yeah. So if you want to go for machine learning yourself, or data science courses, or or specifically about cybersecurity tools using artificial intelligence, you could do that. Right? There's hardly any cybersecurity organization right now, or provider, or OEM vendor that does not use artificial intelligence. Yeah, everybody uses artificial intelligence. So if you want to focus on artificial intelligence itself, then you will have to do machine learning. That means you have to learn stuff around Python, databases and stuff, which you can do. If you reach out to the group, we can link you up with mentors. We can help you grow in that aspect. Yeah. So please don't have the mindset of certification. Have more of the mindset of you actually learning, understanding, being able to provide the value to an organization, and then talk about certification, because we seem to be certification oriented in Nigeria, but interviewers know that it's not working anymore. Yeah. So they are going to drill you. So if you have the certificates, they're going to drill you a lot on those questions you probably won't be able to answer. So it's better for you to have the knowledge, be an intern, learn from someone who's already doing it, and have that practical experience you can put on your CV, and then maybe certification if you want to.
Thank you for that. There's another question. It says, can you say something about WhatsApp hacking? It is very common these days.
Yeah. So I think Boali mentioned that also. One of the things WhatsApp has done, I believe, is they've enabled multi-factor authentication as well. So you suddenly see a code on your phone. You didn't try to install WhatsApp on another phone, and then a code comes in and you punch it in. I see this a lot. Celebrities say, "Oh, my Instagram has been hacked, Facebook has been hacked, this has been hacked," and Boali mentioned that the humans are always going to be the weakest link. You can spend billions on cybersecurity, but humans will make mistakes. So yes, WhatsApp is an easy target, because once they take over your WhatsApp, it's a primary means of communication in Nigeria. You have friends, you have family, You just need to post it that you're in trouble, you need money. People start sending you money, Just ask for like 20K or 50K. People will send you a lot of money, right? So for your WhatsApp protection, enable multi-factor authentication. I think there are privacy and security settings also that you can enable. There's somewhere they will ask you some questions, before you do it. Also, when beyond WhatsApp hacking now, let's assume your friend has been hacked or your family, someone in your family has been hacked, and the attackers reach out to you asking for money. You also now need to ask them some two-factor authentication. Like, where were you last month? Where did we go and visit together? How long? When was the last time I called you? You need to ask. You need to now do two-factor authentication.
Yeah, reverse social engineering.
Yes. So I assume that anybody can be hacked. WhatsApp can be hacked. It's very possible. Even with all this the multi-factor authentication, they can still be hacked. But you now need to ask questions. Wally also mentioned deepfakes. There's someone is calling you using the voice of someone that asking for something. Ask a question that's out of context. Or maybe some nickname you guys call yourselves, and the person can't answer that, and that's fake. So you have to assume that everything is fake. So WhatsApp will be hacked, but a lot more damage will be done than WhatsApp getting hacked. You have to enhance your cybersecurity mindset.
Yeah, so true. So the thing, 2FA, you can never take away 2FA. 2FA is it's so basic. Activate 2FA and then you're fine. And then when Boali was speaking, he talked about I'll come back to that. Maybe towards the end. So let's take the last question. It says, for the this screen of death that happened from CrowdStrike, we know any organization can fall victim of insider threats. Is it advisable to always use a hot backup model for every single organization's database or infrastructure?
I was hoping nobody would ask this question.
I've been asked 1,000 times from that time.
Okay, so yeah, hot site is good, but when it comes to resilience, cyber resilience as well. Cyber resilience means that you can continue working if there's an outage, right? Which is in theory very, very good, but in practice it's a bit difficult. So you can't just have a hot site backup and believe that you have a backup. There has to be an offsite too that you can always fall back on. And the problem with backups is not just taking backups; it's actually testing them. When you take a backup and then the day you need to use the backup, you try to restore it, it's also corrupt, then you're stuck. So when you take backups, you have to test them regularly before you take them offsite. So hot site backups are not going to be enough. There was a time where, no, I think it was there was this undersea cable issue. I think some cables went off and data centers went down.
Yeah.
So if you have your DR on Azure, DC on AWS and whatever, and then and then you cut off. So what happens? So you need to have the offsite backups. And then when it comes to terms of the BSOD, it's related to the first question someone asked about the supply chain attack, where an update leads to an attack or a downtime. It's also very possible. I would have said, okay, you know what, get yourself a Mac or get yourself a Linux. But then one of the reasons Windows keeps getting attacked is because it has the largest market share, right? So the more people use your product, the more vulnerabilities they will find, right? And that's one of the issues with Windows. It's not like there's no attacks for Linux and Mac. There are lots of them as well. So you always need to have, like I said, have an offsite backup that you can fall back on. There was an attack some years ago. I think it was NotPetya, that came from an Ukrainian software company. It was an update also. People updated their machines, and the next thing, the machine restarted. This was I think it's the most devastating cybersecurity attack in the world. I'm not sure if there's another one now that's beat the record. But what happened was the attackers were able to wipe off hard drives completely with no possibility of restoration. So it was more like Russia attacking Ukraine back then. And it caused a huge amount of losses. It affected Maersk. Maersk is a global shipping company. Yeah, Maersk, it affected them a lot. It cost about maybe $500 million or so. But I think there was one computer in Nigeria. I don't know if that's true, but it's talked about in cybersecurity world in Nigeria that there was one particular computer that was not affected, strangely. Why? Because there was no light in that place. There was no light. So that machine was not hooked to the internet at the time of the attack. So when that attack happened, that was the only machine they could work with. Everybody started using Excel spreadsheets because there was no data to work with. It was only that machine that was offline because due to the local challenges, that was available. So so hot side is good, but you need to have some offside backup that's working.
Wow, great. Thank you so much. So Nigeria on the radar, lesson in disguise.
Say so.
I think more questions keep coming, but I think we'll just take, okay, this is the last one. Says, if we need AI for roles like security operations center, for security operations center analysis, why is there still a large number of job opportunities, unlike GRC, that is government risk and compliance, which needs the to know AI application?
Okay, I'm not sure I got the question.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so you say if we need AI for...
No, I heard it, but I'm not sure I got
you
the
understand
intention of
myself. I'm also trying to understand.
So I'll address it the way I understand the question. Right. So for SOC roles, yes, there's artificial intelligence doing stuff. The problem is that people brand a lot of this needs marketing. A lot of it is marketing. When you see organizations actually doing artificial intelligence, nobody wants AI to take charge of their SOC completely. Right? AI can take care of the repetitive tasks, like I mentioned, tasks that bore human beings, so that human beings can take the final decision. If you allow AI to run your SOC, the attackers are not they're using AI also, but they are the ones doing. Attackers are hands-on. Right? You have an attacker in your environment. It's a hands-on person. It's a black hat hacker in your environment, and you're expecting AI to be able to defeat that person. AI, unfortunately, has not reached that level of intelligence where you can allow it to do stuff on its own. What will do that is AGI, not even AI. There's something called the AGI, right? That's the artificial general intelligence. We are not there yet. We are still at the level of AI, which is more specialized, right? So the attacker is vast, right? That's the human intelligence. The attacker understands so many things. So if you have an AI that is doing automated response, the response is, I can understand the automated response based on factors like anomaly detection. And even with anomaly detections, you can trick it. When it comes to zero-day protection, anomaly detections find it very difficult, because attackers know that when attackers know the tool you're using, that's the thing with attackers. They just need time and space. Just give an attacker time and space, they can beat any protection you have. That's why it's very important to remove the attacker at the early stages, right? So you can't depend on AI fully for a SOC. The SOC is a very, very critical part of cybersecurity, probably one of the most important parts of cybersecurity.
Yes.
So it's not something that AI can currently do. So when you hear people saying, "Oh, AI is replacing SOC people," no. Maybe very junior level, very basic level, at the
maybe
point.
Tier 1.
Yeah, maybe log correlation or log collection and stuff like that. When it comes to L2, where you do the real analysis investigation, I'm not sure there's any AI tool right there that can replace a human being. Can work with a human being, can make work easy for a human being. For example, AI can summarize cases for you, can prioritize for you and stuff like that. Tell you what ones you should go for first. But AI has a risk of false positives. Because mind you, AI has to be trained. Machine learning has to be trained.
Yes.
Right. Even with the training, look at what happened to me this morning. Google has been trained for how many years? It's still not reliable sometimes. So that's we're not there yet. So I'm sorry, AI is not replacing SOC. So people market it as AI SOC, AI SIM, AI this, AI that. The AI in it means it's assisting you. So if you needed 10 people in the SOC, maybe now you need only 5. Yeah, that's correct. But it doesn't mean that it's replacing them. It's making the work easier, because it's automating certain tasks that used to perform by a number of people. Now you need less people. For example, a SOC has to be run 24/7. So you can't run your SOC from 9 to 5 and leave AI to run it from 5 p.m. till 8 in the morning, because 10% of attacks happen 9 to 5. 90% happens after work hours. So you as a human being, you are focusing on 10% and leaving a machine that is not that intelligent to handle 90%, doesn't work that way. So yeah, AI there's so much hype about it, but it's not replacing the SOC people. I'm sorry. Most of the the jobs I found on LinkedIn.
SOC.
Yeah, exactly. You saw them, right? Most of them were SOC
Yeah,
roles. A few of them GRC. So even with GRC, right, AI can help them as well. AI can help in terms of auditing, recommendation, to flag vulnerabilities. But you still need the human intelligence. Someone still needs to connect the dots. A GRC person has to talk to several departments, right? The guys doing response, the guys doing the controls, they're probably different teams. So the guys doing SOC are different from the guys doing control. Someone has to be able to interface with them. So AI is not going to do that, right now, right? So yeah, so those things exist. AI is making work easier for them, but it's not replacing them, right now. It's a very long way out.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so comprehensive. I know this person's question was, okay, why do we still have all of these SOC roles if they say or they claim that AI is now so effective? So again, understanding SOC, for me, where I have seen like the capability of AI, really in the SOC, the area where it plays a huge role is actually in just the security automation, orchestration, automation, and response. That's for where I see it plays a huge role in the SOC. And outside that, you still need a lot of human intervention. You still have the layer 1 to the layer 2, 3. You still need to do threat intelligence. You still need to do threat hunting. You need individuals. You need human beings, real human beings, to be able to go into nuances of all of that, all that is needed to actually get this to come true. Thank you.
Let me give you an example on that one too. There's what we call API security, right?
Yeah.
So you want to monitor attackers trying to abuse, API vulnerabilities and, connecting to your application. So there are some AI-based solutions for API security as well, right? So those AI-based solutions will, if they detect certain patterns, they cannot detect attacks. They can disable the API access completely, or they can even shut down the server completely. Now, this server generates maybe, $10,000 for you, per hour. Are you going to leave that to the AI to decide to shut it down because of a false positive? I don't think anybody wants to take that decision right now. So when it comes to, detection and response, it's still a gray area that a human being has to make the final call.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris. It's been so engaging. It's been so mind blowing. And I'm sure our audience, I'm sure you look forward to another section because this has been so great. At this point, I want to say thank you, Chris. Thank you, Bowale, for making time out to be here with us.
Thank you, Christola. That's Christola. Christola is one of my mentor. When I was starting out in cybersecurity, I would just go to this place and he would train us, like, would teach us. And he has more than 16 years of experience in cybersecurity. I'm really honored that he came around for this event. This will bring us to the end and conclusion of CyberQuest 1.0. Please kindly follow us on all social media platforms at CyberPoint, Twitter, Facebook, and every other social media platform at CyberPoint. And also the link to our mentorship and community Telegram group is in the description. So in case you want to need direction and guidance into breaking into cybersecurity, we have guys that can direct you, guide you, share resources with you, inspire you as well to be able to be successful in that journey. Don't leave community, join a community of experts and enthusiasts that are also doing what you want to do, so that your journey will not be long. Thank you so much for staying with us. Have a lovely day.